Imagine standing at the crossroads of time, where the greatest minds, leaders, and pioneers faced their defining moments. What did they choose? What can we learn from them to shape our own paths? But here's the thing. These aren't just stories from the past. They hold the keys to unlocking your future. The future of your choices, your success, your greatness. Stick around because each lesson is a roadmap that can transform your life. And trust me, you won't want to miss. It's a real game changer. December 1st, 1955. A single act of defiance by Rosa Parks sparked the Montgomery bus boycott, igniting a movement that would change the course of history. She was tired, yes, but more than that, she was tired of living in fear. In that moment, Parks chose courage over comfort. Let me ask you, when was the last time you made a bold choice? Pause. Often, the path to greatness begins when we choose discomfort over safety. A life lived in comfort zones is a life half-lived. Parks didn't know the impact her actions would have, and neither will you, until you step up. Abraham Lincoln's story is one of persistence. He lost jobs, failed in business, faced the deaths of loved ones, and even lost multiple elections before becoming one of the greatest U.S. presidents in history. The man had a list of failures longer than his accomplishments. But Lincoln had one thing others didn't: an unshakable belief in his purpose. Think about that. How many times do you give up after one failure? 2? 5? Remember, failure's not the end, it's a stepping stone. And history shows us that greatness is a marathon, not a sprint. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Now, could you imagine facing failure that many times? Most of us would have packed up and quit after try number 3. But Edison saw every failed experiment as progress. He was solving problems that didn't even have names yet. It makes you wonder, what problems could you solve if you didn't give up after the first few tries? Wouldn't it be funny if Edison was just a little more impatient? No light bulbs. Think about that next time you hit a roadblock. Christopher Columbus sailed into the unknown, guided by little more than faith and determination. The ocean was vast, dangerous, and utterly uncharted. Imagine the fear he and his crew must have felt, days and weeks without land in sight. But without Columbus daring to venture beyond the horizon, whole continents might have remained undiscovered for centuries. When was the last time you faced the unknown with such boldness? Fear of the unknown holds us back more than any other force. So ask yourself, what new horizon should you be sailing towards right now? Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for 27 years, but during that time, he didn't let his circumstances define him. Instead, he used those years to reflect, learn, and emerge stronger, eventually leading South Africa out of apartheid. Could you do that? Could you turn hardship into strength, or would it break you? Mandela's life teaches us that sometimes the walls we feel trapped by are the very things that shape us into who we're meant to be. The fall of Constantinople in 1453 marked the end of an era, but from the ashes, new ideas, trade routes, and even the Renaissance were born. It was a moment of massive defeat for some, but also a new beginning for the world. Isn't it interesting how one door closes and another opens in ways we never expect? And just like that, sometimes losing can be the best thing that ever happened to you. I bet Constantinople didn't see that coming. Mahatma Gandhi led India to independence, not through violence, but through peace and sacrifice. Gandhi once said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." Here's the kicker. Leadership isn't about power. It's about service. It's about putting others before yourself, even when it costs you everything. Ever thought of greatness that way? What if the greatest impact you can make isn't in what you gain, but in what you give? Martin Luther King Jr. stood in front of thousands in Washington, D.C., and delivered a speech that continues to inspire generations. His words? They weren't just hopeful. They were visionary. I have a dream. King didn't just see the world as it was. He saw it as it could be. And that's the thing with greatness. It begins with a vision. Ask yourself, what's your dream? Is it big enough to scare you? If it's not, it's probably not big enough. Julius Caesar wasn't just a great general because of his military skill. He was patient, strategic. He waited for the right moment to make his move. And when he did, he changed the Roman Republic forever. Too often, we rush towards success, thinking speed equals progress. But sometimes, waiting for the right moment is the greatest move of all. Just don't wait too long. We wouldn't want you missing your Caesar moment. Charles Darwin's theory of evolution taught us one fundamental truth. It's not the strongest or the smartest that survive, but those who can adapt. Life is full of changes. Some we expect, some we don't. Greatness lies in how we respond to those changes. So, are you evolving? Or are you stuck fighting battles that no longer matter? Remember, adapting isn't about giving up. It's about growing. Courage over comfort. Throughout history, those who achieved greatness chose to step into fear. Whether it was Abraham Lincoln standing firm in a divided nation, or Marie Curie challenging the limits of science, one thing is clear, they all embraced discomfort. Why? Because they knew that comfort breeds stagnation, while fear ignites growth. Or more importantly, what would you stop avoiding? The gym? The to-do list that's gathering dust? It's time to face it. Greatness doesn't come from comfort. It comes from the fire of challenge. Clarity creates confidence. In 1941, Winston Churchill famously said, "Never let a good crisis go to waste." He saw through the chaos and found clarity. Think about your life. When things get hectic, do you let the fog of confusion overwhelm you? Or do you clear your vision, focus, and adapt like Churchill? Lesson number 3 is something that transformed one of the greatest artists of all time. Stay with me. Persistence beats talent. Van Gogh, yes, the guy who didn't sell a single painting in his lifetime, became one of history's most celebrated artists because he didn't stop creating. He wasn't immediately great, but his persistence made him unforgettable. Ask yourself, are you willing to keep going even when no one's applauding? Imagine how your life could change if you approached every goal with that level of persistence. You are your habits. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to master his daily habits because he understood that small actions create an empire over time. Think about it. What tiny habit could you change today that might ripple into a massive transformation? Could it be drinking more water? Or maybe resisting the urge to scroll endlessly on social media at 2 a.m.? Greatness is not built in a day, but in the tiny decisions you make each day. Think long-term. Cleopatra wasn't just a powerful queen. She was a master strategist who thought years ahead. Most of us get trapped in the short term, instant results, immediate gratification. But what if you shifted your mindset to play the long game, just like Cleopatra did? The next lesson is one that turned an obscure farmer into one of history's wealthiest men. You'll want to hear this. Guard your energy. In the 1960s, Martin Luther King Jr. knew the value of preserving his energy for the fight ahead. He understood that not all battles are worth fighting, and not all opinions are worth considering. Today, we get distracted by a million voices. But ask yourself, what would change if you protected your energy like it was your most valuable resource? Are you spending it on trolls in the comment section? Imagine what you could accomplish if you focused that energy on building your future instead. Your thoughts shape your reality. Gandhi said, "A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes." Think about it. The most powerful leaders, inventors, and visionaries throughout history began with one thought that they believed in so deeply. It changed the world. What are you thinking today? What could you create if you shifted your thoughts to align with your vision for greatness? The lessons of history aren't just tales from the past. They're maps to our future. Courage, persistence, vision, patience. These are the qualities that define greatness. And the best part? These lessons are timeless. They belong to you now. Which one will you act on today?